Hi everyone, it's Pete here. Now this is the second and final part of my Lunchbox build and modifications. Now as with the first part, I won't be going into much detail about the standard build. This is about the modifications really. So without further ado, let's get back to where we left off. Okay, so I'm going to put the body mounts on now. It's a pretty well known fact that the standard body mounts on the chrome parts here are very weak and these snap too easily. So it's pretty much essential to get some of these aluminium ones. You can get them on eBay. But then there's another problem. These are strong, but especially on the back of the chassis here, where they attach, eventually that little square bit of plastic will break out. So that doesn't break, but the chassis does. So what I'm going to do is use this product, which is Abro steel, which is a sort of epoxy kind of putty stuff. And I'll just cut a little bit off to show you. So you mix together the two bits, the centre and the outer, and so it's a uniform colour, and then you just use it like putty and it'll set in about sort of 10 minutes. So I'm going to strengthen that area there, and then you can drill into it and tap some screws into it just to really strengthen that part there. So I'll just do that now. Okay, so I put the lump of Abro steel there. I think really I should have put a bigger lump, but anyway, I've just gone with that. So then I've drilled through and just put an M3 machine screw through the body post there, and I've just put a couple of self-tapping ones there just to sort of hold the that onto the chassis, and hopefully that will be strong enough. I've just left the front one as is at the moment, and I'll see how we get on. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is the battery tray. So that fits on the bottom of the chassis there, but you might have to make a modification depending on what sort of battery you're using. So if you're using a standard stick pack like that, then that's fine. You can just follow the instructions and that will fit in there, and you put the little bit of sponge in there, and that's all as per the instructions. I'm going to be using this Shorty lipo pack. You can get these from Hobby King. So that's going to go in there. It hits on that, but that's okay because it won't go any further than that because these hit on the edge of the chassis there. But what you do need to do is just take away these little ribs at the back there, just with a Dremel or something, because otherwise that will catch on that when it's attached. If you wanted to go for a full size, what I call full size, sort of 2S lipo like that, you're going to have to make adjustments. You're going to have to take that rib out there as well, so it can slide all the way across, but even then it's annoyingly slightly too big, so you're going to have to make some kind of adjustment to the door there. They do sell the 3D printers and things like that. They sell bigger doors for these, but yeah, you're going to have to sort of work something out so that you can fit that in. Like I say, I'm using the Shorty pack, so I'm just going to take those out now. Okay, so I've used the hobby tool there to take out some of the plastic there and make more of a corner in there, and also this edge here, I forgot to say, that needs a bit taken out of it as well. So now the battery should slide in there okay and fit once it's attached back to the chassis. So I'm going to attach that now and just check that it fits. Okay, so just attach the battery tray there. Let's try and go with the battery there, and yeah, that fits in fine. So let's put the door on, and you can see that the terminals don't let it go any further than that into the car, so it's not quite central in the chassis, but I think because the motor pokes out that side and the battery pokes out slightly that side, it's quite balanced. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, next thing I'm going to have a look at is strengthening these front wheels. Now what happens is that bit there where the bearings fit in either side eventually breaks out, and so what I'm going to do is use a bit more of this stuff that I used on the chassis earlier and get quite a big dollop of that and mould it around that there, just to sort of strengthen that middle part. Right, okay then, so I've put the Abro steel around the middle there. I mean, I don't suppose this is very balanced, but front wheels don't spend that much time on the ground anyway. It's more to do with the impact when it comes down off jumps and things. So yeah, hopefully that's strengthened enough now. Right, I'm going to glue the tyres on. Now it doesn't say to do this in the instructions, but if you don't, they can come off, and also with the back drive wheels they can end up spinning inside the tyre. So it's best to glue them on. So get them on nicely like that, and just check that with the insides of the wheels facing in, that the tyres are all pointing the right way, so that the treads pointing forwards if they're lined up as if they're going to go on the truck. So yeah, let's just get the glue and have a go. Right, so it's got this very cheap super glue, sort of runny stuff from the pound shop, and all I'm going to do is just peel back the tyre and go round and get the glue in there until I've got round to where I started. So let's just do that. Yeah, so what I tend to do is just do one side on all of them first and leave them to dry, because otherwise if you turn that over and do the other side now, the glue might come out over the tyre, over your table or whatever. So yeah, I'll just do that with all of them on one side and leave the glue to dry. Okay, I'm just doing a quick test fit of the body and the wheels, because one thing I know I do need to do on the front suspension is to use some of the rubber tubing to limit the movement of the front spring there, because that hits on the body. So looking at it, it looks like I need to put maybe 1 centimetre of tubing on the shock shaft just to stop that about there. Put 1 centimetre of tubing on each of the front shocks, so now it doesn't hit it there. I think if you were steering fully and that hit a bump there, it might just catch the bumper, but I'm going to see if that's an issue when it's out on the road or off road. So for the meantime I'll leave it like that, because I think that's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to fit the receiver. It's going to go in this space up here. I mean, it could go maybe down there, I don't know, just where it fits best for you. But anyway, yeah, it's going to go up in there. But I'm going to waterproof it. I'm just going to use this party balloon. I'll just cut the neck off just to make it easy to get the receiver in. But first what I'm going to do is just to wash out some of this sort of powder they put in balloons to, I think, stop them sticking together. But because I want to stick the receiver to the inside of the balloon, so I'm just going to wash that out a bit. Right, so I've cleaned out the inside of the balloon a bit, and I've put some double-sided tape on the back of the receiver there, so I'm just going to stick that onto the bottom of the balloon. Then sort of turn it right side round. Okay, so it's sticking to itself a bit more now that it's not got that powder inside. But yeah, basically I was going to put some double-sided tape on the bottom of there now, stick it in, then put the wires in, and eventually when I've tested everything out, just put a cable tie around the top of there to stop the water going in. Right, before I seal up the balloon with a cable tie, what I've done, I've got this short servo extension cable, male to female, in the spare port on the receiver there, and the purpose of that is so that I'll be able to plug the lights in outside of the balloon, because if you had the lights wire there and then cable tied it all up, you'd never be able to get the body away from the chassis. So yeah, I've just done that, so I'll just test that it all works before I seal it up. Right, so I plug the lights into the extension cable there, so let's just power it up and see if they work. Yep, that looks good. Something else I've done just to secure down the receiver in the balloon a little bit more is to use these hooks here and here. Put an elastic band across there, because that space in the dim and distant past would have been for your receiver batteries, and they would be the hooks for your elastic band. But yeah, we can use those just to make sure that doesn't move. Okay, if you're using an old-fashioned 27 megahertz radio, then you'll need this big wibbly wobbly aerial tube. But if you're not Mark Bryan, you're probably using one of these 2.4 gigahertz things with a little tiddly widdly aerial there. So really, you can just do this. Sorry, Mark. Now, something to think about if you're going to be putting LED lights in the front is to just check that these holes are big enough for the LEDs that you've got before you put the glass lens in the front of the light, because it's easier to run a drill through there before the glass is there. So I've just done that, and now those will fit in there like that, and so I can put the glasses on now. So I'll just do that. Right, I'm just putting the stickers on the body, and before I put the stickers on the back lights there, I just put a hole through, if you can see that, which is 3.2 millimeters either side. And it's just to poke the LED through from the back, so there should be just enough space just to get that through there. And then what I'm going to do is to stick the LED in with some Sugru, so I'll just do that next. Right, so I'm using this stuff, Sugru, to fix the back lights in. Now this pack of 3 does look a bit like something for the weekends, but in my experience, don't use it for that, it's ineffective. Right, so I've just opened it up, and what you get is this little bit of rubbery stuff. Now it's mouldable for about half an hour, I think. And what I'm going to do is sort of mould it around the back of the light, which will fix it in, but it'll also stop the light from coming through the plastic, which isn't so much of a problem, the black one, probably more on the white plastic body. And it also stops the light coming out underneath the body. So once I've moulded this around the back, the only place the light should come out is where we want it to, just there. So yeah, let's just do that now then. Okay, so I've stuck the back lights in there. Now, when I did this before on my Lunchbox, they did come unstuck eventually, but I just super glued them back in. I had a little bit of Sugru left over, so I've just done the backs of the front lights as well, just stop the light from escaping from underneath the body. Okay, so I've left the Sugru to set overnight. You see it sort of sets into this hard rubbery kind of stuff. And one thing I've noticed actually is there are a couple more slots under the lights there that I haven't filled in, and the light will be able to escape there, so I might just use a little bit more and put it in there. But in the meantime, I'll switch the lights off and power it up so you can have a look. So you can see, like I was saying, the light can get through those little gaps there, so I think I might fill those in. But on the back, you can't see any light coming through the underside of the body there, but at the back, looks pretty good. And that's the front. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Now, something else Sugru is useful for is to put little handles on your plugs, like these Dean's plugs, which go together very tightly and they're quite difficult to get apart because there's not much to hold on to, little tiny plugs. So if you put some Sugru around there, you can make yourself a little handle, makes them easier to pull apart. And the same goes for your little receiver type plugs there that we've got the LEDs plugged into. Yeah, any sort of things with wires where it's sort of difficult to pull them apart is pretty useful. Okay, so I put some Sugru on these Dean's plugs here, and it's dried now, so yeah, it just makes it easier to get them apart, because they're quite little plugs and they're difficult to get hold of, so that just helps a little bit. Right, so put the body on. It's a pretty good fit, but there's a bit of play between the body and the body clip there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some plastic packaging, it's just like PET packaging, and use some double-sided car number plate tape, and put some little squares of that inside the body and drill holes through, and then it should make that a bit more of a snug fit. See that, because it's all black, but I put the bits of clear plastic on there with double-sided tape, and I've drilled through with a 4.5mm drill. So now I'm just going to put it back on and just check I can still get the body clips through. The body clips through. It's very snug now, but so there'll be no shake of the body. I'm just using these bigger body clips just to test it out because they're easier to use, but I know you use the little ones that are more discreet generally. But anyway, I'm pleased with that. Right, the next thing I want to do is to tidy up these wires by attaching them to the inside of the body, because they're pretty all over the place at the moment. There's a couple of things you could use. You could use some more of the Sugru, but it's quite expensive, so I'm going to use some more of the double-sided car number plate tape. So I was going to stick rectangles of it on the body, then stick the wire to that, and then put another layer of tape on top of that, which I found is more robust than just sticking it straight down with the tape. So yeah, I'll just get on with that. Okay, so I've got the wires all out of the way. I've just left this one so I can plug it into the car. Right, I'm just making sure the lights still work after I've been fiddling about with the wires inside. They're still okay, so that's good. So really, that's done. All I need to do really is to maybe paint the indicators on there and on the front there, but might get around to that another day. But meantime, I'm going to go and give it a test drive. Okay, so there it is, all finished and working. I haven't had any problems with this one so far, so I must have built it okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.